The Allied victory in Nemotia had struck a heavy blow to the Swatinian Empire, but a deeper silence now shrouded the empire. The authoritarian regime, cornered and wounded, seemed to recede into shadows, leaving an eerie void in its wake. Meanwhile, the newly found Sapharian World Alliance, a coalition between the Majosi Federation, the Satarian Kingdom, and the Republic of Tamaria, mobilized for the next phase of their grand campaign. The plan was ambitious yet carefully orchestrated. Using the Enetian tactic, a legendary Novarian strategy of siege and attrition, the ZWA sought to dismantle Swatinia's eastern defenses. Once the eastern strongholds fell, the coalition would advance westward, through the Broda mountain range, towards the heart of the Swatinian power. From Port LaSalle, a force of nearly 2 million troops and over 50,000 tanks and artillery set sail under the command of General Maraudus, the Satarian prince who had masterminded the liberation of Romus and York. Protected by an array of submarines and warships, the fleet made its way to the eastern shores of Swatinia. Upon landing, the ZWA immediately split into 3 corps, each tasked with besieging one of the fortified cities east of the range. Rabimus was the first to fall after a brutal siege, followed by Hishanos. Though resistance stiffened at Aminarat, the combined might of the coalition overwhelmed the defenders. By the end of these sieges, Swatinian control in the east had crumbled. The coalition now turned their attention to the Broda mountain range, the natural barrier separating Swatinia's eastern and western territories. The corridor of Mephiso, a narrow and strategic pass, offered their only viable route. Beyond the pass lay Salai, once a thriving city during the Ethereum boom, but now a ghost town. The complete evacuation of Salai was unlike anything they had encountered before. Buildings stood eerily silent, streets devoid of any movement. General Maraudus, ever cautious, knew this was no retreat. It was a calculated move by Swatinia. The stage was being set for a confrontation of unprecedented skill. The coalition's next target was the Westerns region, home to Swatinia's largest population centers and its economic backbone, including the capital of Boli. These cities, shielded by the Broda mountain range, were the heart of Swatinian power. Swatinia had evacuated Salai, not out of fear, but as part of a larger, more ominous strategy. Communications lines buzzed with updates as leaders coordinated with General Maraudus. Despite the victories in the east, they knew the battle for the west would be unlike anything before. Every inch of the west was fortified, every road and passage potentially a trap. Yet the leaders of the ZWA were united in their purpose to end Swatinia's tyranny and bring democracy to the region. As the coalition forces inched closer to the western cities, anticipation swelled on both sides. The invasion of the West would be the largest and most complex military operation in Zephyrian history. It was not just a battle for Swatinia, it was a battle that would define the future of the entire world. The War of Liberation in Mephiso had entered its most critical stages. What lay ahead was a confrontation that would reshape Zephyria forever. A war not just for territory, but for the soul of a continent.